Hey guys, so we're doing the informational text, the short story for lesson 21. It's called Wagons of the Old West by Maria Santos, illustrated by Dan Brighty. It is an informational text that gives you information and facts about a topic, and we're going to focus on the diagram that's in this story. So it says one of the oldest kinds of transportation is the wagon. It is a four-wheeled vehicle drawn by strong animals. People around the world have driven wagons for thousands of years. Wagons on the Oregon Trail. In the United States, wagons made history between the 1830s and 1860s. During this time, thousands of pioneers traveled westward. Some went as far as Oregon, but others settled in many places along the way. The pioneers journeyed for up to 6 months to reach the west coast. They had to pack a lot of food and supplies for the trip. Families packed some of their furniture, too. To protect their possessions and supplies from the sun and the rain, they used covered wagons. Back east, there was an enormous wagon known as the Conestoga wagon. Its rear wheels were as tall as a man. The top rose to more than 11 feet above the ground. The back and front of the wagon bed were sloped upward so that the cargo would not tip out when traveling across mountains. People liked the design of the Conestoga, but those wagons were too heavy for the long journey west. They needed as many as 6 or 8 horses to pull them. The wagons would have to travel over very rough land as there were no roads yet. A smaller wagon was built with high sloped ends to keep its cargo from spilling out. It also had a white canvas cover to protect the cargo from sun and rain. Traveling in groups or trains across the flat land of the prairies with their white tops, the wagons sometimes looked like ships. People soon called them prairie schooners, as a schooner was a type of ship with white sails. So if you look at this diagram, this is the actual prairie schooner that they built. You have a jockey box where people would sit. Okay, so the jockey box carried tools that travelers needed to keep nearby, so it stayed there. You have the iron-covered tire, and they're very big tires. You have the actual bed, you have the cover, which was white, and you have the bows, which is the things that kept the cover on. People would sit and walk along with the wagon as it goes, and the horses or whatever they used to transport would be up here, attached to it. Wagons on prairie farms. Once the pioneers chose a place to settle, they built houses to sleep in and to store their food. They no longer needed to carry such heavy loads. The prairie schooners were much too big for everyday use. Pioneers needed a wagon that was comfortable to ride on. Much smaller farm wagons were built. Springs were added so that riders would not feel all the bumps along the trails. A spring is a steel brace that holds up the bed of a wagon. The springs were lighter than the heavy frame of a prairie schooner, so the wagon could travel faster. So this is the spring wagon. You have an actual bench seat that you could sit on and be comfortable. You have the bed, which is smaller, and you have the springs that look down here. The spring wagon could fit 2 adults on the front seat. So, with that being said, you're going to do the text to self this week. You're going to write your own opinion. If you could choose between living near the coast like Sarah or living on the prairie like Anna and Caleb, which would you choose? And give me some reasons as to why you chose that for your opinion. Okay? Go ahead and reread the story as well, and your text to self will be on your week 3 positions. Okay? So get started.